Hey everybody, it's me Chris, and today I'm going to talk about the DS because, a lot of people have been asking me what are my thoughts on the DSi, what are my thoughts on the DSi XL, and then what are my thoughts on the newly announced 3DS. Now, before we really get started, I'm just going to give sort of my overview thoughts on the entire DS thing. It was the sort of third pillar when the GameCube and Game Boy Advance were out, and then, it really was the successor to the Game Boy Advance. The DS, it was a very good system when it came out. I know a lot of people were making fun of the touchscreen, although it did end up kind of working. Although, really, it was not that big of a deal, because the touchscreen is there, but how many great games really involve the touchscreen? And I'm not talking about, novelty games that are kind of good for 2 hours and then you never think about them again. Or, like, say, a Pokemon game where you can browse the menus using the touchscreen, but it's really not integral to the entire experience. In terms of just touchscreen games, very few games came out that used it. There was Kirby's Canvas Curse, and I would say that that was definitely a great game worth playing, but overall, not that much. Now, what I think the second screen on the DS really turned out good for was a map screen. And I say that kind of sarcastically, but on the other hand, it really was useful, because when you're playing these RPGs, it's just natural to want to see, where you're going. You want to see a map, you want to see statistics. And when you're working with such a small screen, it's just very convenient to have it there. I remember playing Crisis Core on the PSP, which is a great game as well, but there were times when I was like, hey, it would be nice just to be able to see some extra statistics, or when I'm playing, an obscure PSP game, like, say, Popolocrois. I did find myself thinking that as well. So, overall, I would not say that Nintendo achieved this great revolution with two screens and a touchscreen, but overall, it was definitely worth it, just for the extra perks here and there. Now, the original DS, it was big, it was bulky, it didn't really feel that great, and then the DS Slim came out, and I would say that was definitely worth the upgrade. When it was first announced, I was kind of like, Nintendo was making another cash-in by re-releasing their crap once again, and they kind of did do that, but it was worth the extra money to get the upgrade, because you did get the slightly larger viewing screen. I believe the screen was a little bit more clear, possibly, and the thing just felt better to hold, it felt better to play, and I would say the DS became a very good system. I do not think that in terms of hardware that the DS is good. I think it is sufficient, but in terms of the games that companies are releasing on the DS and the amount of effort that is put into some of these games, definitely a handheld system worth owning. Probably one of the best in the history of handheld systems, although that's not exactly a difficult accomplishment. But anyways, moving on, eventually the DSi was announced and then, actually released. And I just did not see the point in that. I did not actually purchase a DSi. What exactly is the point of the DSi? In terms of comfortableness and whether or not the games are actually more enjoyable to play on the thing, not really. I guess the viewing screen is slightly larger, but you know what? Either we're going to go much larger, or it's really just not worth the extra money. And then there are some other extra perks with the DSi. I guess some of the processing power is a little bit increased. Not entirely sure if that's really going to make that big of a difference in games. And you know what? With all of the DS Slims and fat DSs out there that just tons and tons of children own right now, I really doubt that any company is really going to isolate their games that they're putting out by putting out anything that's that great as a DSi exclusive. I believe there's only one DSi exclusive cart. But yeah, anyway, we also get a camera. Who really cares about having a camera? I have a camera on my phone if I ever really need one, and I've never really seen a handheld game that would ever make good use of a camera. I guess there's a few novelties out there, but who really cares? And then there's the DSi downloadable service, which is sort of the DSi version of the Nintendo Wii's WiiWare. Now, with that, once again, I cannot see any company making any DSiWare exclusives that are actually worth playing, because you're not going to have that big of a user base to sell your games to. So you're going to either make them for the DSiWare or downloadable service or whatever it's called, and then also available on the DSiWare or the Nintendo WiiWare, and then everywhere else that you can download games. There's really nothing that exciting that I have seen come out for the DSi downloadable service. Just nothing at all. It does not appeal to me at all. So overall, I consider the DSi pretty much useless. If I didn't have any of the DS systems, I would definitely get the DSi, just because I would want what's the best on the market right now. But I do not think that it is worth upgrading to at all. Now, anyway, moving on, once again, there is the DSi XL. Now, this is sort of the big-ass version of the DSi. Now, that's kind of cool because, you know, sometimes it's just nice to see these handheld games with a bigger screen. I guess that if I was in the market to pick up a handheld system and I owned nothing, maybe I would consider waiting for the DSi XL, just because having that bigger screen would be worth it. And you know what? Carrying any of these systems, you know, in your back pocket or anything like that, it always seems ridiculous. I've always carried my handheld systems, if I actually take my handheld systems out of the house, that is in its own little separate case, and, you know, it just keeps the system more concise. All of your games are together, and it's just better protected. But overall, the DSi XL, not that exciting, especially considering that, oh, look, lo and behold, now there is the 3DS. Now, what is that? This is the new evolved DS system. I guess this is going to be treated separately than what is the DS right now, as in it's going to be its own brand new system. The thing with this is that it's going to contain several screens which give a 3D illusion that do not require glasses. Now, that kind of appeals to my techie side, because I always look forward to what the new technology is and how companies are embracing new technology. But in terms of games, I cannot see handheld games being that exciting, being in 3D. I actually have not bought into the 3D phenomenon at all. I saw Avatar in 3D. You know, that was an experience. It was cool, but you know what? I would have been just as happy watching that movie on a flat, regular screen with nothing popping out at me. And then Alice in Wonderland 3D, not worth it at all. And I've seen, like, Coraline. I saw that terrible horror movie, My Bloody Valentine in 3D. It does nothing for me. They've been doing 3D for quite a long time. Not that exciting. And you know what? Once the initial hype, the initial excitement for 3D is over and done with, I don't think people are going to care again. And wearing glasses to watch regular television in 3D, not appealing at all. I like the flat screen. I like the flat surface. It is more enjoyable to just sit back and watch something in 2D. It's more comfortable to watch. You don't need to go out of your way to prepare to watch this stuff. Now, I know I'm getting a little bit off topic here with the 3D on the 3DS, because this is not going to be a system that requires the glasses. But really, think about it. What can you do on your handheld system that's really going to make the 3D that much worthwhile? Are you going to be playing great games on a handheld system in 3D? I can see these novelty experiences. I can see some games that might even, reach the heights in popularity of Wii Sports. But is Wii Sports really that great of a game, or is it a game that is very enjoyable because a lot of people embraced it all at once, and so it had a bit of novelty because it was an original thing to do? Because, you know, all of these minigame collections that are coming out for the Wii every 3 days, it seems, or at least on average, their gameplay is not that much worse than what the Wii Sports provides. It's just that with Wii Sports, everybody embraced it all at once, so it was an experience that you could enjoy with your friends and family members. And I kind of get the vibe that this is what is going to happen with the 3DS. Now, I will not say that this is for certain, but that is just my hunch. I think that this system will come out. It will be embraced by developers, and so we will get games in 3D that are good, but I do not think that these games will ultimately require the 3D. And so while I'll probably end up buying this system, I am not that thrilled, or at least that hyped, that the system will be in 3D. But anyways, guys, those are just my thoughts. If you want to give me your thoughts, feel free to leave a comment, leave a video response, whatever you like. Thanks for watching.